Hello divas, dudes, and dolls, I'm Caricature and welcome back to my wiggly, wavy, and wonderful little review show, Very Slay, where we go over each and every main stage runway look on RuPaul's Drag Race UK Series 6. And here we are on episode 3 with the runway theme of New Romantics. So the New Romantics were a sort of subculture that came out of the late 1970s in predominantly the UK. They would take aesthetics from like 18th century romantic period fashion and glam rock and smush them together. So that's why we see a lot of things inspired clearly by David Bowie, Boy George, Duran Duran, Depeche Mode, Soft Cell, Flock of Seagulls, you know, like that kind of era of music. Personally, for me, I think about that like transitional period between the 70s and 80s. Lots of one-hit wonder songs that came from bands that were really heavy on using synthesizers. It kind of evolved out of glam rock into a sort of like synth rock, and then synth pop kind of came from that. But the visual aesthetic of this time is very, very specific. So I was very excited to see what they were going to do with this because I think this is a really, really fun theme. I love a period fashion moment. On top of that, I really love the aesthetics of glam rock. This is a really fun runway. But before we get into the looks, I want to make sure that everyone is aware of how the show works. If I think that a look got the job done, met the brief, but didn't blow me away, we give it an okay. If I absolutely adored it, we give it a slay. And if I think it really missed the mark in some capacity, we give it a nay. And that's all in efforts to find my weekly slay of the day, my favorite look out of the entire episode. Whichever look takes that top spot at the end of the episode, we'll go head to head up against our current ranked slay of the season, which is currently the House of Zen from last week's design episode. I'm gonna be fighting with this dress all day, I can already tell. Whichever look comes out on top at the end of the season, I'm going to illustrate sneak peeks of that illustration along with illustrations of every other slay of the season look, and on the Patreon that you can exclusively access starting at the $3 tier level. If you want to join the conversation and get caught up on my whole reviews of the entire episode, challenge, whatever the case may be, any subsequent drama, those can be found for free over on Patreon as well, just by joining as a free member. I am a little behind on them because the move has been going really, really fast, and it's been taking up the vast majority of my time, so I just haven't had time to do them. I apologize for those who actually do read them every week, but they are going to be getting caught up this next week. I'm probably going to be doing like large posts to run through every episode. They will be pretty condensed, but starting after this like batch is done, I'll be back to doing these the same day that Very Slay drops on YouTube, so that way you can watch the video here and then head on over there and check out the posts. But now that we've got that out of the way, let's go ahead and dive into each and every one of these looks. As always, if you want even more Drag Race fashion content, and maybe some like Pokemon content coming pretty soon too, hint hint, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, all of those lovely little things. I would greatly appreciate it because we are on the road to 1,000 subscribers and we are now just shy of 700 watch hours towards that next metric. I know I say these all the time, but I love keeping you all updated on where those goals are because it's exciting to get closer and closer, and there's a lot of content coming. So if y'all keep watching and supporting, it will get us there very, very quickly and very, very soon. So that's what I'm hoping for. But with that all out of the way now, let's go ahead and dive into these looks. Starting us off this week, we have Lil. I just want to take a second to apologize because my audio got so garbled in the process of this recording. I don't know how, I don't know what's going on with it. It's really frustrating, but with this look, I love the blush. I loved how piratey it was. I thought she looked like a band front man. I loved the silhouette of the skirt. I thought it was styled well. Really successful opening look for this runway, in my opinion. I'm gonna give it a slay. Then up next, we have Lavoie. Now, this makeup I wasn't really expecting from her. It's a lot harsher than her normal makeup because of this black eyebrow. I was not really a particular fan of this look. I really hate the Dreamcatcher earring. If I don't like Dreamcatchers being incorporated into fashion by white folks, maybe there are some things from that time we should leave back then, like the cultural appropriation of indigenous cultural items. So not a huge fan of that. I think overall the hair's fine, like it works, but it's not amazing. And then the skirt, I don't really care for. I think there could have been more to it. It's just kind of tacked on there for me. I think I'm gonna give her a nay. It just is a miss for me. Then up next we have Release Slaves in this lovely maroon moment. I'm obsessed. I am obsessed with this. This is the best thing she has worn so far in this season, in my opinion. I love the cut of the pants. I love the huge sleeves. The sleeves are my favorite part of this whole thing. I think the color in general is just really divine on her. And I love that she's using like St. Lucian colors as well. I love this like huge, ridiculous ascot that she has. This is so New Romantics, but drag. And I think she really nailed the challenge in that she took the fashion aesthetic points of that era, then merged her drag aesthetic with it in a really interesting way. For me, this is hands down a slay. Then up next we have Zahira. I think the makeup is the best part of this. I hate the crimped hair. I think the shirt has some interesting things to it, but the fact that it's just like a black panty, it reads really unfinished. I think had she had like a textured ruffled skirt, I think that could have worked better. Honestly, anything would have worked better than what she did for the bottom half of this look. I know she was focusing on the oversizedness of the shirt, but I think had she just done the oversized shirt and made it like a dress, that would have been better and more interesting than this. This feels like a missed opportunity on the runway to really deliver something cool, so this is gonna be an A. Then up next we have Charavan. I love this oversized coat. I love how like deconstructed this feels and how punky overall this feels. But the proportions of it feel very accurate to the 1980s. My only real gripe that I have with this is the proportions are so weird. I'm a proportions girl. As much as I love the hair, the makeup, the shirt, the ascot, the coat, all these little details of this, and how much I love the color of this dress and love the shoes, I don't know if they all really work that great together for this theme, because while their elements are all there, and I feel like she's another one who really did good at taking it into her world and into her aesthetic. Because the coat is cut the way it is, especially just in terms of like the drop length here, it makes her torso look incredibly long. And then with where it hits on the skirt and with where the skirt hits on her boots, it makes her legs look like they're about this tall. So it throws her whole body out of whack. And for me, that's a really big issue. So I'm gonna give this a soft slay. Because she sold it, she carried it well, but I think had it just been like a slightly higher waist, to not be as odd on the eye, I think it would have just been overall more successful, but it's still a great look, that aside. Then up next we have Chanel O'Connor, and it definitely fits, I think, the New Romantics theming. That doesn't mean that I have to like it. I think the skirt being made out of ties is the most interesting thing of this whole look. I don't like her little fascinator. I think the hairstyle is not my favorite because the proportions of the hair really look off to me. I hate when people do these wigs where it's real tall and then it just kind of goes straight out and it looks like a chunk has been taken out of the wig. I think there's a lot of really good details here, good styling choices. I like the tights. I like the cut of the shirt. I like the cut of the jacket. I like the little roughly laced sleeves. But for me, I'm just gonna give it an okay. I don't think it's horrible, but it's certainly not my favorite as much as it does like meet the brief. Then up next we have Marmalade, who's doing this little David Bowie cotton candy pastel moment. I absolutely adore this. One of my favorite looks for her so far this season. I love this makeup. I love the hair. I love all the little details throughout this look. I love the epaulette details on the shoulder, like all the little toys that she's painted gold. The little troll dolls riding the horses is so funny to me. I absolutely think she smashed it out of the park this week. I love the long cape. I love the cut of the bodysuit. I love the shoe choice with this. I love the little striping on the one leg. This really knocked it out of the park for me, and this was a real standout when it came out around the corner. This is a slay. And not just because I'm obsessed with the color palette choice, because, you know, T-girl reasons. Then we have Octavia, who's doing this Austin Powers Prince kind of vibe. I think the makeup is cool. I like the incorporated A. I like the little thunderbolt coming off of it down the face. I think that's really great. I love the hair choice here. I also find it kind of plain. It's missing that lack of finishing to really take it all the way. For me, it's just okay this week. Then we have our sadly departed Queen Dita Garbo. And I think it really hit its mark for me. I will say at the same time, there are some fit problems with things being a little bulky. I'm not crazy about it being pants because I think the pants hit in a little weird spot. Mostly, I just don't like things that go past the knee. I think it should stop at the knee because when you go past it, it can cut the leg off in a weird spot. But it's pretty good. I'll give it a soft slay. Then up next, we have Kiki Snatch. I love this hair color on her. I think it's a gorgeous, gorgeous color with her skin tone. Her makeup's great. I love the little pearls. I love the little jacket, but that's it. The rest of the look, nothing really goes together. The pants kind of match the hair, but that's it. I don't see new romantics in this. I don't really see taste in this. And I think that's the biggest issue I have with Kiki, is that like the taste factor just isn't developed yet. It's gonna be a nay for me. And then finally, we have the primary princess who's wearing a secondary color, Charity, in this Lee Bowery moment. Normally, I wouldn't really associate Lee Bowery with their new romantics, but I also think that this kind of works. This is by far her best look so far, the competition. I love the concept of this. I love the scale of it. I think this is like really out of left field compared to her other looks, and it's certainly the most outside of everything else on the runway. But it did remind me of something very particular from my childhood. The giant fish balloon enemy, I think that's what his name is, from the Powerpuff Girls. Like the big kaiju fish guy who has a bunch of eyeballs. That's what this is giving me. Absolutely 1000% down. But in general, I really adore this. I think the shoulders are great. It's great on the runway. This is a slay. And now it's time to pick my slay of the day, my favorite look out of the whole episode. And I think without question for me, this title is going to once again, surprise, surprise, to Marmalade. I absolutely adored this. If you put it in front of me, a trans color palette or like a cotton candy pastel situation, but then on top of it, make it like a period theme in terms of like a fashion reference point, I'm gonna adore it, and it's gonna knock my little socks off. And then on top of that, as I'm recording this, she just posted on Twitter of the planned look she had for the 10 runways. Last week's was her 9th favorite. Her first one was her 7th. I think she said her promo would actually rank one step beneath that one. And this one was 6th. So if she has 5 looks that are better than this one, I think we're gonna be seeing at least 5 more slay of the days from her, unless it will really blow me away in other capacities. We'll just have to see. But now it's time to take this look and put it head to head up against the House of Zen for the slay of the season. And I think, personally for me, while I would love to do something with the House of Zen, I think this new look is gonna take that top spot. This look was a real shock for me when it came out on the runway, because it is so aesthetically up my alley, and it's got a lot of fun little details that I think I would like to take a crack at doing something with. So, Marmalade's new romantics look is going to hold our top spot as our new slay of the season going into episode 4, and we'll just have to see if she takes herself out next week, because if she does, I wouldn't be surprised. That's going to be it for me for this one. Again, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and make sure to go out there, y'all. Stay kind, stay queer, and make sure that your day is very slay.